I have the opportunity to invite the next speaker up, businessman, school reform advocate, Harley writer, and cigar smoker, candidate for governor, Bruce Rauner.
Not working.
You hear me? There we go. All right. Thank you for your patriotism. Thank you for your commitment to our Republican Party. To restore good government in Illinois takes every voter, every citizen getting involved, getting informed, getting engaged. Thank you for your support of our Republican Party. This is our year. This is our election. We are going to make Pat Quinn history as governor of Illinois, and we're going to take him out. Promise you that. And not only are we going to replace Pat Quinn, we are going to transform our state government. Just like Mitch Daniels did when he transformed Indiana, just like Scott Walker's doing as he transforms Wisconsin, just like Rick Snyder's doing as he transforms Michigan. We are going to do the exact same things here. I'm running for governor for a simple reason. I love the state of Illinois, passionately. This is my home. We raised our 6 children here. We built businesses here. This is your home. This is our home. It's a very emotional decision for me. I am very protective of our home, and we have entered an economic death spiral. We are going down the drain. The career politicians are taking us down the drain, and I can't sit back and watch and wait while this occurs anymore. We are going to win this race. I had a big debate in my family whether I should run for office because I've never done it before. I'm a self-made business guy, not a politician. We're six kids around the dinner table, and my wife and I debated it. My youngest daughter said, "Daddy, don't run for governor. I don't want you to go to jail." They had a sad commentary when a teenage girl knows that's what our governors do. And I said, "Katie, one of the reasons we're going to run, and we're going to win, I want to prosecute those rascals in Springfield. There's still a lot of corruption going on down there. A lot of self-dealing." I'm running to accomplish 4 things. I'm going to focus like a laser on 4 things. More jobs, lower taxes, better schools, and term limits on all the politicians in Springfield. We're going to focus like a laser on those 4 things. We've got to make jobs job 1 for the governor. We have got to become pro-business, pro-growth, pro-free market capitalism. We've lost our way as a state. We're as hostile to business as any state in America. And it's killing us. We have the highest unemployment rate in the Midwest, worse than Michigan. I mean, good grief, come on. Come on. No excuse. We should be the #1 state for economic growth and job creation. I'm going to make that my top priority. Second priority is our taxes and our spending. Our spending in Springfield is out of control. We've got to rein it in. We've got to have true pension reform, not the Band-Aid on the open wound that just got passed. We need true Medicaid reform because our Medicaid system is being tripled and it's corrupt and broken. And we've got to take on the power of the government union bosses that have got a stranglehold in Springfield. Now let's be clear. Let's be clear. You know, my enemies right now are attacking me. They're saying I'm anti-union. I'm not anti-union. I'm anti-conflict of interest. Conflict of interest. Working families in Illinois are suffering. Truck drivers, plumbers, electricians, carpet, factory workers, maintenance workers. Working families in Illinois are suffering with brutally high unemployment, brutally high taxes, and deteriorating schools because of the power of the government union bosses that are driving up our spending and our taxes and pushing our employers out of the state. Mitch Daniels knew that when he took on the power of the government union bosses by executive order in Indiana. Scott Walker knew that when he took on the power of the government union bosses in Indiana. We've got to do the exact same thing here. And that's what I'm going to do as governor. I'm the one person in this race, I'm the only person in this race who's never taken a political contribution from a government union boss. And I can't be bribed, bought, intimidated, or influenced. I'm a self-made business guy and I've done good. And I'm proud of it. When they say I'm an evil capitalist, I'm saying you're downright, I'm a proud capitalist. I'm a capitalist and have been successful in my whole life. Capitalism is the reason we're the most prosperous nation in the history of the world. It's the #1 poverty-fighting engine ever devised by mankind. Now we need pro-capitalism in our leadership in Springfield, and I'll get that done. Now education. Critically important. My wife and I have been battlers to improve education for our entire lives. My wife runs an early childhood education organization. I've been battling for K-12 school improvement for 25 years. I believe in charter schools as a competitive alternative to standard schools. I believe in vouchers so parents can have choices and not get stuck in a failing school. I believe in merit pay for great teachers so they can make more money. And I believe in reforming tenure so ineffective teachers aren't locked in a lifetime career hurting children's future. We need competition and choice and options throughout the state. But critically important, we've got to change the education funding formula in Illinois. I can promise you in Rockford, you are not getting your fair share of state education funding dollars. And we are going to reform the education funding formula so every child, every parent is treated equally throughout the state and got the same level of support for education quality. The other critical thing we're going to do is put back into place vocational training, technical training, and job training into our public school system. We took it out in the early 80s. It's hurt our young people. And we have one of the highest unemployment rates in America, but we have thousands of jobs going unfilled in Illinois because our young people aren't given the job training to fill those jobs. And I'm going to make it a point. We're going to restore it into our public high school curriculum and to our community college curriculum, vocational training, technical training, so our young people can step into the jobs that are available today. That's a critical part of it. And then for term limits, we've got to put term limits on our career politicians. Some people have said, well, Bruce, we have elections. Those are term limits. I say, no, when we have as much corruption as we do and entrenched politicians who are in office for decades, making money from their political power, elections don't work. They get locked in. And we need term limits to rip them out. You know, Adlai Stevenson had a famous line about Springfield. Some of you may remember it, talking about the corruption in Springfield. He said, cleanliness is next to godliness, except in the Illinois legislature, where it's next to impossible. And we have a corrupt system that's got to change. You know, when George Washington founded our nation, he could have been president for life. In fact, many Americans wanted George Washington to be king. And he said, no, I'll be a public servant, I'll work for the people of America for 8 years and leave office. And he did that voluntarily. We need that philosophy in Springfield. And the politicians will never put it on themselves. They'll talk about it, but they won't do it. So we're going to take it straight to the voters. Let the voters do it rather than the legislature. I've recruited an organization to come to Illinois. It's called U.S. Term Limits. It's a national group that's put term limits on 15 state legislatures around America already by voter referendum. We're going to get it on the ballot as a voter referendum. Let the voters decide about term limits, not leave it to the politicians. That group is here. U.S. Term Limits is here. They're going to collect 300,000 signatures by May 4th. By May 4th, we need 300,000 signatures. If you'll help with that, we've got petitions here. It's its own process, separate from our governor's race. We need those signatures. We've already collected 250,000 signatures. So we're doing well. But we're going to get 300,000 signatures by May 4th, and then it'll be on the ballot as a constitutional referendum in the general election in November. And when it's on there, it will pass, because the vast majority of voters in both political parties support term limits. And then the clock will start ticking, 8 years and out. And no more 30 years, 20 years, 35 years. 8 years is plenty of time. I'll term limit myself if I'm honored to be your governor, but I want that limit on our politicians in Springfield. Now let me quickly tell you about myself and my running mate. I was born and raised here in Illinois. I grew up in Lake County, in Deerfield. My dad was an electrical engineer at Motorola in Schaumburg. My mom was a nurse at Northwestern University Hospital. I'm the oldest of 4 kids. I'm half Swedish, half German. German Catholic, Swedish Lutheran. My parents argued about it, and I was raised Episcopalian as a compromise. My best friend growing up was my Swedish grandfather. My mom's family came from Scandinavia in the late 1800s, and they were all dairy farmers all around Wisconsin. My grandparents lived in a little double-wide trailer in a cornfield outside of Whitewater, Wisconsin. And I grew up milking cows with my grandfather. Talk about hard work, that is hard work. I never want to do that again. I raise cattle still. I still grow some crops. My aunt and uncle were ranchers in Grand Junction, Colorado. But my real business is the investment business. I grew up with my grandfather milking cows. He got me into hunting and fishing. I'm a proud gun owner. I'm a Second Amendment advocate. I'm an avid Harley rider since I was 14 years old. And this is not Harley Day, unfortunately, but we're doing a lot of the campaign on Harley. And the AV8 guys are great. The AV8 are the political arm of the Harley riders. They've never had a governor candidate be a Harley rider, so they're like, this is awesome. And it's a lot of fun. I worked my way through school just like your kids, parking cars, flipping burgers. In college, I was a breakfast chef at 5 a.m. and at night I was a radio newsman. I did 4 years of radio news. I've got a great voice for radio. It's helping our campaign. Although my friends have seen my political ads say, Bruce, you do have a great voice for radio. But you have a face for radio too. Stay off the television. And I say, no, we're going to get our ads out. When I got out of school, I met two executives at the First National Bank in Chicago. They were leaving to start a venture capital firm. I joined them. I was employee number 5. And I was there for 32 years. I became a partner after 2 years, and I became co-head of the firm, managing partner of the firm, when I was 31 years old in 1987. We built it into one of the most successful investment companies in America. We created dozens of successful firms. But one of the things I'm proudest of is we managed state pension money. And this is going to come up a lot in the race. State pension money is around America is the #1 funder of private equity and venture capital in America, by far. By far. And while we manage money for Illinois, Wisconsin, Minnesota, and 25 states. And while the Illinois pensions were only making about 7% returns over the last 30 years, we did 2.5 times that, almost 18% net compound annual returns for 32 years. We did a phenomenal job. We saved taxpayers hundreds of millions of dollars, and we provided a good retirement for our honest government workers, and that's important. And I'm proud of that track record. And so when the teachers union bosses and AFSCME and SEIU are attacking us, and they're bombing us right now, I remind folks, I've been working for you and your union and your members for 32 years. And if you say I'm a bad business, I'm an evil business person as a result, I say, baloney, you've been hiring me for 32 years, every year, and I've done a heck of a great job for you. Now all of a sudden you're spinning it as I'm evil, baloney. Doesn't fly. And we've shut them down on that criticism pretty handily. This is our year. We're going to win this race. And we put 42,000 miles on the Ford in the last 8 months of 2013. We put 6,000 miles on in January. This is a big state. And when you can only drive half the speed limit because of ice, it's a really, really big state. But we're all in state, and I love campaigning. I've never campaigned in my life, but I love it. The people who stay are great. I'm having the time of my life. And I love being out with you. We're going to win this race. As we've traveled, we've got voters all over the state, even independent voters and many Democrats who are fed up with Quinn, come to me and say, Bruce, we love your message about more jobs, better schools. We're going to be with you. We have African American ministers. We have Latino leaders. We have independent voters coming to us and saying, this is the year, Bruce. You're the guy. You're going to drive results. We're on board with you. Thank you. For those of you who don't know, come to joinbruce.com. That's our website, joinbruce.com. No obligation, but you can see our positions and our communication. We've got a great Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're reaching out to young voters. We've got hundreds and hundreds of high school and college volunteers working with us. We've got 2,000 volunteers working around the state. We've got a great ground game going. This is our year. We're going to win this race. We've been winning the key endorsements. We've got massive business support. Doug Overhelm, the CEO of Caterpillar, endorsed us day one. And we're going to win this race. I look forward to going to work for you. Thank you for your support of the party. God bless you. Let's win this election.
Just a little shorter, Bruce. I'd like to bring up to the podium Father Jim Cimitaro, who is going to provide our invocation for the evening.